Are back. So, let's talk about what we were talking about on the break.
And that would be...
I don't know. You guys were having a conversation, and she's going, can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? I don't
Well,
know.
we were talking about the fact that you noticed that this time you've had two successful, and let me tell you, there's no one that you will vote for in Belknap County that has been more for the taxpayer and small government than Guy Comtois, period. But that aside, you're saying that you're noticing now that the progressives have really community organized a lot more in Barnstead than you've seen in the past terms.
Yes, it's the editorials. I really wasn't paying attention to them because it was started about 3 weeks ago. I actually got the first one they wrote about me about a week late. And it was just, of course, distorting the record. Now, for instance, I voted against public kindergarten. I voted against the state mandating the towns to have public kindergarten.
Right. You child hater, you.
Yeah,
right. And we know it doesn't work anyway.
Yeah, of course.
I voted for high interest rates. No, I voted for title loans. Now, would I go get a title loan? Absolutely not. I think it's 250% interest. But as a contractor in my younger days, a lot of times being a small business in this type of world we're in right now, you can get the work, but you don't have the funds to start the job.
Right.
And, yes, you get an upfront payment, but sometimes if it's a big company, it takes you 2 weeks to get your first payment. You need funds to start the job. If you can't start the job, you're not going to get it. If you have your title and you need to go do that for 2 weeks to get started, it's there for you. Just personally, it's none of my business what you do if you go and get a title loan.
But I thought the left was all about choice.
Of course they are. But they put I voted for higher interest rates.
Yeah.
Well, then you ought to talk to the credit card companies because I think if you get $1,000 limit and you max it out, you pay the minimum payment. I think the interest actually comes up to 350% or something like that.
Yeah.
No. And so no, I mean right now in my area they're very organized. Their county chair is very organized. On the other hand, our county chair isn't doing anything.
No.
I haven't seen anything come over about organizing sign waving. We're just kind of out there on our own.
I know the town chairs usually aren't so bad, but as long as I've been following politics diligently in New Hampshire, the state party and the counties don't seem to do all that much for the local candidates at all, and any House candidates. I've never seen any. The Democrats are exactly the opposite.
Exactly. Yeah. They're organized. They're and also too when a Democrat is getting attacked, you have more people come to their rescue.
Sure.
Conservatives kind of sit back. We're out there making $100 a year. We're doing everything that they want us to do. We're taking the hits, and you don't get any help.
Well, I think let us distinguish here, Guy. If a conservative is out there putting his neck on the line, doing the job, the Republicans, they of the damaged brand, will not come out to help. Other conservatives may rally around you as long as they're not already down, heads down working themselves,
right?
But they'll come out for you. But the Republican brand doesn't want to be involved with the plight of a conservative.
No. And this goes into what we were talking about before with the crappy leadership that we have in this party. How much money does it take to get on the phone or to start a campaign to help these local candidates that will fight for lowering taxes and keeping government small? I mean, this is why we have bad leadership. We need to do better than this. It doesn't cost the party anything to go to Guy and say, hey, Guy, how many people do you need this week to go out and hold signs, to do a sign wave? That doesn't cost anybody money, but you got to get off your butt and get some work done. They don't want to help the conservatives. I'm convinced.
No,
they believe the conservatives will not play the game of the machinery to put the moderates in office. And so you're left hanging in the breeze.
And it's amazing, this ideology of going out to get Brown and bringing him in and totally embracing him, okay, is in the end hurts a lot of Republicans because the base of each party is not stupid, and then you're not going to throw a liberal like Brown at them and expect them to come out in droves to vote for him. They're the ones that are paying attention more, And I saw Brown in an interview, and it shows you how horrible the press is when they were saying about back last spring. So were you? So Senator Brown, were you planning on moving to Hampshire? Oh, yeah, I was planning on moving to Hampshire. My kids are up here. My grandkids are up here, on and on and on. Now, if this person interviewing was a good interviewer, he would have said, Well, then, did you plan on resigning your seat in Massachusetts if you would have won? If you were planning on moving to Hampshire? I mean, he ran 2 years ago. Now you're planning on moving to New Hampshire. I mean, it's a joke. He's treating us like New York. RFK did it in New York. Hillary did it in New York. I need a Senate seat. Where am I going to go?
Yep.
And they embraced him over proven Senator Smith.
Yes.
And Rubens, who was from the state, kind of cast him aside. And I've seen them do it before. They did this in 2008 when I worked on the Huckabee campaign.
And by the way, I heard a story on that, too. This is somewhat apocryphal, so I'm going to run it to ground before I write anything. That Rubens had an assurance when he first got in the race from Smith that Smith had no intention of running. But we had a three-way race anyway. So Smith decides to jump in anyway, and nothing to knock Smith as a conservative. He's a damn good conservative. And then the party says, well, we're not having any of this. We're going to go recruit Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's that's the reason. The only ones that are willing to speak out against that are the conservatives. And that's why they got to get rid of us.
Right.
Because we are a problem for them, because we will speak out. We're not just go along, get along. I'm not leaving my farm and not getting half of what I should be getting done to go to Concord, to fall in line behind somebody who has, we think, like, I don't know what Horn and I could possibly agree on.
I mean, no principles?
Yes. I mean, everything, but it's just,
that's why I put up the Alice Cooper every so often, We ain't got no pride. We ain't got no principles.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
We just want to get a win next, and we don't care who it is, so we'll get Brown in, who voted with Obama 98%, 78% of the time, and he's taking a shot at Shaheen for voting 99% of the time.
So I guess our bar is 12%.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yeah.
So, Guy, let's talk about a couple important issues to you before we run out of time. We got about 6 minutes.
How can we, contact information, how can we help you in your campaign?
Well, right about now, we're obviously running out of time. So, I mean, I have a mailing going out. We're going to do some sign waving.
Letters?
Letters to the editor, which would be, they would have to go in Monday,
right,
into the Baysider.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Baysider is your local newspaper?
Well, it's the only one where you can do a 500-word editorial. If you got the Suncook Valley Sun, it's limited to, I think, 150 words. And if you do a decent editorial at 500 words, as we found, there's no way you could narrow it down to 150 and still get the effect.
But if you can tweet your liking for Guy Comtois, then put that into 150 words instead of 140.
140 characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, here's my suggestion, because I just did this in my town. I tied, we have 8 Democrats running and 8 Republicans for the 8 seats in our town. And 4 of those 8 Democrats were listed online as members of Obama for America. So I just said, basically, you've got 8 candidates, 4 of them are no-name placeholders, and 4 of them were coordinators or team members for Obama for America. Democrats are running away from Obama. These people were committed to keeping him in office.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's all I said. Those people support the Obama agenda.
And I think it's Bruce Marriott, right,
yes,
that you're running against. I mean, a more convicted leftist you could not have.
I mean, if you've got somebody who can just write a quick blurb, even if it's just 150 words, this guy supports the Obama agenda. Even Senator Shaheen is running away from.
Yeah.
You can't afford this guy.
No, and I've got a lot done. I mean, obviously, I'm getting tagged as a one-issue person. Well, because I'm on the Environmental Agricultural Committee, and actually the way it works, the committee you choose is usually the most you can bring to that committee. Mm-hmm. So I've gotten a lot of legislation done for agricultural. We just passed HB 608, rabbit poultry bill. Mm-hmm. So far in New Hampshire, before this bill in New Hampshire, you could not sell a rabbit or a chicken from your farm to the restaurant legally in New Hampshire, unless you went through USDA, and USDA doesn't want to do chicken because it's too messy. So now we can do 1,000 rabbit, 1,000 chicken from farm to restaurant. I had brought the UNH Cooperative Extension in to set up a safety class to calm down Health and Human Services. And there's no age limit on this bill. A 16-year-old wants to get into this and make his contacts with restaurants and take this one-day safety class. It's like, if they use it to its fullest potential, it's $40,000 a year.
There you go.
And it's very little setup. I mean, small cages. If a rabbit is bred right, it produces more meat a year than a cow.
Holy moly, really?
Yes. And, they sit there and say, I'm obstructionist and I'm not creating jobs. One quick thing about farming is there's nothing more in New Hampshire than agriculture, okay? You grow it on the farm. You sell it to local people. It's healthy food. It goes to local restaurants. It goes to local grocers. The money stays right here. And if you like the way New Hampshire looks, You better support your local farm, because I grew up in Pelham.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, the farms were everywhere. We just thought it was going to be like this forever. And slowly, as the 70s and 80s come on, the old farmers got older. They got rich.
That's what's happening
It
here.
just filled the town from like 3,500 when I was a kid to 15,000 right now. And I think there's about 700 buildable acres left.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen to every town in New Hampshire, slowly but surely.
Well, anything definitely near the border is done. They're not going to save it. Maybe Hollis.
Well, they'll migrate up. They will, because we thought it too.
You know, the only way they save Hollis is by making it too expensive to build a lot of houses. Believe me. I will probably move out sooner rather than later, because the taxes are expensive. And there's some nice people, but those nice people think that everybody can afford the taxes that they can afford.
Yes, that's the problem when you start having a town like Pelham that has the Bronx, which was the older part of Pelham, they called us, and then you had the new wealthy, so you'd had the $250,000 home, and then you had the $1.5 million home. Well, they have no problem going for all the new schools. They don't care about the people that have been there all their lives. They're on fixed incomes right now, as long as their school looks good, looks like an empire. And it happened all through New Hampshire. It will happen here. As far as my race, if you know anybody in Barnstead, please tell them to get out and vote. Give me a call.
What about your sine waves? When are those happening?
We're going to do one Friday, I think, and Monday. Not this Monday. The Monday before the election.
Okay.
And,
so sine waves. So how can they get in touch with you to sign up for the sine wave, or to make calls on your behalf? Write letters. What's the contact information? Website, phone number?
My phone number is 776-8989.
And folks, this is an opportunity you don't necessarily remember. Even though Guy is going to represent Barnstead, whenever you have a good conservative, even if you do not live in that community, you can still help, because his vote is going to help your desire for small governance and good taxation, policy, all of that stuff. So go outside the box and support those people.
Yeah, we got to stick together.
We do.
So we get your phone number. Is there a website, Guy?
No, I did do a website. I'm busier than a lot of other candidates on a personal level, so I never got to a website. But
That's okay. They've got your phone number. Email?
oh, God.
Okay. Send it to us. We'll put
Give
it on the website.
give it to Steve. We'll post it along with the interview.
All right,
Okay,
we're done
well.
for today.
But
Thank you
Guy
very
is
much
on
for
fire for smaller government, and we like that.
spending time with us as I turn microphones off so I can get us off the air. Another edition of GrokTALK, brought to you by GraniteGrok.com and CNHT. Thanks so much to Guy Comtois. Jane Cormier, thanks for coming in as a guest host. And, of course, Mike Rogers. And Skip, if you're listening, hi, Skip. We'll see you next week.
Wait.
I got to go. We're done. See you later. Bye.
Yeah, baby!
When asked whether she still supports Obamacare, Senator Jeanne Shaheen said,
"Yes, I do continue to support the law. We're beginning to see some positive results."
how can Senator Shaheen say we're seeing positive results when 22,000 of our neighbors have already lost their health insurance? What's worse, the Boston Globe reports the state's only health insurance provider radically reduced the number of hospitals in their network, forcing some people to drive over an hour for lab work, even when there's a hospital within a few miles of their home. When pressed about lack of access, Shaheen said,
There are some hospitals that are not covered, unfortunately, and I certainly hope that's going to change.
Jeanne Shaheen promised us we could keep our doctors and our healthcare coverage. Now she hopes we can get to a local hospital? Call Senator Shaheen at 603-647-7500. Tell her we need more than hope. We need leadership. Paid for by Citizens for a Strong New Hampshire.
Senator Jeanne Shaheen said, if you like your current health plan, you can keep it. That's not true, Senator. 22,000 New Hampshire citizens have been kicked off their insurance plans. Hospitals in Rochester, Concord, and Portsmouth, they aren't allowed to provide care under the exchange. Senator, you were wrong in your comments. You should apologize for your misleading remarks. I'm calling Senator Shaheen at 750-3004 and telling her I want my doctor back. You should too.
Paid for by SaberPac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
All of the music on this program comes to us through Creative Commons licensing from Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the speakers, and not necessarily those of CNHT, GrokTALK.com, or anyone else for that matter.
GrokTALK.